Educated scammers, ladies and gentlemen. What a time to be living in Jamaica. Now, today's topic, as I said before, is about educated scammers. Now, what happens to both is not a coincidental issue. It is something which entrenched in the Jamaican system and something that extends even beyond Jamaica to developing countries. There is a book that was written by John Rapley that speaks about the underdevelopment of the third world. And in that book, in terms of the underdevelopment of the third world, you know who underdeveloped the third world? The IMF and the World Bank underdeveloped. So what I'm telling you about this is relating to scammers. Some people may want to think that the scammers is a matter systemic to Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely not. The whole world is a set of scammers, and they are bureaucratic scammers. They continue to scam and leech of those who are poor. Now, what happens to Bernie Madoff in the United States is another scam. What happened to other persons, and I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and name them. But I want to go to some historical context to this matter related to scamming. Now, when the whites came in, the Caucasians came in, the Europeans, the Romans, the English, the Portuguese, etc., came in. They saw a world developed by other persons in terms of the blacks. And we can even go back to the issue relating to Christopher Columbus and other persons, all right? But it's within the same context. When Columbus came to the Caribbean, he came and saw people in the Caribbean, and he took over their wealth, their resources, and they actually said he captured, or better said, he discovered Jamaica and discovered many other Caribbean territories. That was a part of scamming, a structured scamming that has been going on for years, for decades, ladies and gentlemen. When the English came to Jamaica, they also saw people here in Jamaica. And again, they scammed those who were actually living in Jamaica. But I want to extend it beyond that. When the English and other persons went to Africa, and even when there was that national meeting in terms of dividing Africa, it was also another scamming. Now, what has been going on historically, and one need to understand clearly that this is relating to scamming is now an art. And it is an educated person now who have actually refined the scamming to the point where they will rarely be caught, ladies and gentlemen. Or even if they are caught, they live luxurious lives. Bernie Madoff and other persons. I don't want to name them, but you can speak off the top of your head. These scamming. In the 1990s, Jamaicans were scammed by FinSac, or scammed by a group of persons and under the umbrella of FinSac. Now, is it the first time that Jamaicans have been scammed? Absolutely not. We have been scammed and scammed and scammed and scammed and scammed continuously. And it's a scamming that will actually never stop. Now, in order for you to understand how the issue of scamming sort of developed and how it has been mastered and refined, one need to understand what happened during slavery. When the slave plantation owners brought the people from Africa into the Caribbean, haven't actually seen persons who were here or even expanded to the Americas. They took these individuals from their land, from their family, and brought them into other places and worked them. And many of them were worked to death. Now, not only they were worked to death, they were given little or nothing. And when they tried to run away, they would actually use dogs and other persons and capture them. And for the men who they wanted to actually teach a lesson, they will sodomize these men openly. Now, what am I saying? The entire world structure of the current Western system is a set of scam, structured scam. And irrespective of how you work, you will always be scammed out of your resources by these structured bureaucrats, the structured class. Now, if you are to understand clearly why Bolt was scamming, Bolt was scammed in the same context to which I speak. Bolt is seen as a black nigger, whether Bolt want to face it or not. Is a black nigger country boy that had nothing and came from nothing. And that is how the structured class will always see Bolt. So the fact that Bolt had this money, they scammed him out of his resources to not only humiliate him, but to put him back in place. A number of you are not even aware of this. But how many of the wealthy families in Jamaica are black as Bolt and started as Bolt? A matter of fact, I want to give you some things that you can actually go and actually read. 80% of Jamaica's resources, wealth that is owned, and I'm taking my time with this, by 20% of families in Jamaica. And those families are not of bold complexion. And what happens? As soon as an individual rises to the top, who is my complexion and many of your complexion in Jamaica, you will always be scammed. Carl Blight was also a perfect example. A pretty wealthy individual. He was actually scammed. His brother, Neville Blight, was scammed. Now, some persons are not seem to understand the structure, is that we are not seen as valuable people. We are just seen as a set of niggers. You may not want to deal with it, but we are just seen as niggers. So every time you go and you try to own certain resources in Jamaica, as soon as you begin to compete at the table with those persons with wealth, they are going to scam you. And Bolt, I'm sorry that you were scammed, brother. But you need to understand this, Mr. Bolt. And for all the other persons who are educated and believe that your education is going to actually let you not be scammed, or your education is going to get you at the table, you're going to be sitting at the table to help the scammers scam non-scammers. And the irony to all of this, when the few Jamaicans in Montego Bay and all over Jamaica scam Americans out of their wealth, they were caught and imprisoned. How many times in Jamaica's history have these individuals who have scammed hard-earned, hard-working persons have actually gone to prison? We can name maybe one. Smith, that was actually sent to prison. How many persons that have scammed people out of their resources have been caught and were imprisoned for either 1 year, 2 year, or even 3 year, or even go as far as scamming the people and were given more than 30 years, as in the case of cartel. And these individuals are known in terms of what they do in Jamaica, yet still they are kept in their position. Why? They are educated, upper class scammers. And what they do, they institute organizations only to scam people out of their resources. And the government endorse the scamming culture. At the same time, the government try to encourage the scammers who are educated and the upper class to scam the average person. When you look at some things in Jamaica, some person don't want to deal with it. A critical scamming which is occurring in the world that people are not thinking about is relating to profit. Profit, ladies and gentlemen, is a scam. Now, when a company in Jamaica, National Commercial Bank I'm actually speaking to, can actually make $1 billion Jamaican dollars and scamming people out of their meager resources, is that profit or is that scamming? And they use the law to scam people out of their resources. You have your money inside of your account. You have not visited your account for a year, and the money disappear. It might be 100, it might be 200, it might be $10 million. You'll be scammed of every cent that you have inside your bank account by these educated individuals who will always get away with their scamming. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my views. As I said before, read how the World Bank and the IMF, and I'm taking my time with this one, underdeveloped the third world. The scamming didn't start there. That was also a huge scamming that occurred. And you can also go and read Witter and Anderson's work in 1991 that looked at what really happened during structural adjustment and how the people in Jamaica and other third world countries were scammed by the IMF and destroyed. Slavery also scammed us. Bolt was scammed recently by SSL The scamming continues, ladies and gentlemen. When are we going to wake up and say enough is enough and stop these scammers from scamming the people of Jamaica out of their hard earned resources? These are my views. What are yours? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.